I ain't going nowhere.
All right, guys, welcome to the second Jubilee channel episode of the channel. If you missed the last one, basically what this type of episode is about, it's we're not having any directed conversation. It's going to be a free-flowing conversation from everyone on the panel. Um, we're just going to talk about whatever topic kind of comes to mind, and then we will, at the end of, like, closer to the end of the chat, we'll look into YouTube chat and answer some questions there if anyone has it or any comments. So we'll go over that. Yeah, and we'll go over we got a couple little things to share you today, but again, the conversation is not going to be one set in stone. It's going to be a free flowing conversation. But that being said, we'll go ahead and say her lives. Hey, everybody, thanks for being here. I'll throw it out to my brother Anthony to get us started. How you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Happy to be here. Uh, Want to tell everybody that's in house with us hello, and hope everybody had a great day. And over on the Take on the World chat, I see Pepper Moon and Take on the World TV has joined us. Maybe more will join us later over there. But Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for the people that are here now. Thank you for the people that come and watch later. Definitely leave a comment. We're going to read some comments today of previous videos. So excited about that. And that helps the community grow, gets more people to get join on the Discord and share their puzzle pieces with us, because that's what we're about here, is sharing our puzzle pieces. So yeah, definitely good to be with you again, brother, as always. We'll throw it off to Daryl. How you doing tonight, Daryl?
Doing all right. Yeah, I'm hanging in there. Anyhow, Shabbat Shalom, y'all. Glad to see y'all here, and hope things are going good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm excited about this because it's not like we're not pressed for time. We don't have to go over any specific topics, so it's going to be a nice, relaxing Jubilee, and so I'm excited about that for us in the channel. So, all right, well, let's move on. How you doing, Frankie Bree?
Rock Shalom, everyone. I hope you guys are having a blessed Sabbath. Nick and I went into the studio today. We're going to have a beautiful track for you. We're so excited about that. Yeah, it's completely blessed us. Gave us a great guy to record our music. We got one song on the books right now, and we got 9 or 10 more to come. So it was a wonderful day. Great day of fellowship and just using our talents. Really, really blessed.
That's
I hope
awesome.
you guys had a great Sabbath also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude, I'm super excited. For those that don't know, Frankie and Nick Splitty here are making a song for the outro of the show. So that's going to be fun, and it's not going to be copyrighted. So that will be awesome because it's our own original, people here that are making this stuff. So we love that. So yep, I had a great Shabbat. It was just chill, hung out, just enjoyed myself for sure. All right, well, let's move on. How you doing tonight, Nick?
No, I'm well. Good evening, everybody. I just noticed how the whole graphic is different tonight because the Jubilee. It's just one puzzle piece like floating out in white space. Like we don't have the table or anything. Like we're building like something specific. So that's kind of cool. I feel like that'll inform what we talk about tonight, like completely free form. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was kind of the intent behind it, because it's like we're not really, we don't really have anything. We're not really bringing anything to the table. It's kind of just out there free floating ideas and streams. We're kind of forgetting all the stuff and kind of build something new, as you had said before. And I'm definitely excited to share that what you were kind of sharing with me earlier. But yeah, let's again, thank you for coming on. Now, we don't have anything pressing to do. Was there anything that you wanted to get into first, Anthony?
No, I'm busy doing something at the moment.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Well, if that's the case, I'm,
All right.
most of the people may have that are already here saw this, but I wanted to show it just because I think it's super duper funny, and I hope y'all saw it. And those that do see it here, and I please go check it out afterward. Leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite part about it. I want to make more of these, so even if it's like constructive criticism, I'm cool with that, or something that you loved about it, I'm cool with that. But I definitely would love some comments on it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. So obviously, most of the people know that I am a big fan of Wits It Gets It, and so Austin. And I say fan, like I'm not a fanboy of him, but I think he does a lot of cool, good things, and if I can glean some of that from him, that's awesome, and hopefully he's able to glean some stuff from me, when I throw my gravy out there into his chat. But that being said, so what this um, was his this was back in St. Louis. He went to the Ark, and at the Ark, this random dude like came up to him and started harassing him, and was totally what is called referred to as a gamma. So yeah, let's show that and see what y'all
Can I
think.
say one thing before you start it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Notice the arch looks like the firmament. I think it represents the dome that we're
That
under.
totally
And it's
wouldn't
funny,
surprise me at all.
voice right in our face. You know what I mean? So I just noticed that when you're watching the clip, how the arch represents the dome. I just wanted to throw that in.
All right, here we go. So this is What's It Gets It Clips, St. Louis Gamma Alert.
Because even if you disagree with me, which just means you don't know anything about it and you haven't researched it, but you should agree with my right to say it, right? Well, the government doesn't agree. I guess the First Amendment has a stipulation that says no flat Earth.
You're a f***ing idiot.
Okay, you wanna debate me?
No, there's no real value.
Do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is?
I do.
Define it.
The second law of fucking thermodynamics has to do with Twitch and YouTube keeping you on their platform.
Or gamma mill.
You're totally what's wrong.
Do you know what a
with
gamma
fucking-
is?
I know that's what.
What's the radius of the Earth? Do you know?
Do you?
Yeah, 3,959 miles. What's the circumference? You don't know. What's the curvature rate? You don't know. How fast the Earth spin? You don't know. How fast it go around the sun?
I'm just gonna.
So you're just ignorant. You know what a gamma is?
Hey, actually, I don't have anything to do, so I'm just gonna be here.
Perfect. I'm just gonna make you look dumb then.
I'm gonna make you look dumb. What is this on Twitch?
It's on YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah, you look
wow,
dumb.
you can't even get on Twitch, dude.
Yeah, I can get on Twitch.
They probably ban you.
No, would you support platforms banning people?
I support platforms banning people like you.
You don't even know what the second law is. You don't even know anything.
The second law of fucking thermodynamics.
All right, so yeah, that was the first one, and since I'm already here and it popped up, let me pause it. This is the other one. But before I go to there, would y'all think about that? I know y'all see it before, but just to get your kind of thoughts now here online.
I thought it was hilarious the way you did it. Both of them.
I just I noticed the way that Austin was talking to him. He looked like a boxer, and he was just jabbing him with truth bombs, just hitting him with left after left after left of truth bombs. It was so cool. He was just standing there going, boom, boom. It was like Muhammad Ali in a fight, just hitting him with quick lefts, boom, 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 quick jabs. So cool.
Yep.
I didn't notice that the first time, but the way you put it together, Vader, it looked like a boxing match. He was just like stepping him back, stepping him with bomb after bomb after bomb. You don't know this. You don't know that. And he's hitting them. Oh, it's so cool,
Yeah, I thought it was
Uh,
pretty funny. Go, what'd you gonna say?
yeah,
Next?
I was gonna say I like how you got the part where he's like, you know what, I don't have anywhere to be, so I'm just gonna stay right here. It's like, really, guy? Like we had no idea.
Yeah, and I mixed it. I mixed it in with it. He goes, "You know what a gamma male is?" And he's like, "You know what? I don't have anything to do today. I'm just gonna be right here." And he's like,
I didn't notice that. Yeah.
he's like, perfect. And then he goes,
What got me the most is whenever Austin went to when he got disgusted finally because Google was taking too long. Austin would just start telling him what Google was going to say, and then the dude would just read it right there on camera, pretty much word for word what Austin was saying.
Yeah, that's the one we're about to play. Speaking of which, here we'll go ahead and play it. It's a minute and 53 seconds. This is how I usually watch Austin. Just kidding, but kinda.
If the Earth was actually flat, then why do boats disappear behind a curvature, huh? Well, did you know that actually when you see a boat disappear, you can pull binoculars out and you can see the boat again? And then they'll disappear again, and you can pull a camera out like a Nikon P900 and you can zoom in and you'll see the boat again. So did my P900 go X-ray vision to the curvature of the Earth? No. See, what happens is when something gets too far away from you, you can't see it anymore because it reaches its perspective limit. Once you increase how far something can see, you can see it again. So people are told, even in school to this day, that boats disappear behind the curvature, but actually boats disappear and then you pull out a camera or a binocular and you can look at the boat again. So what that proves is the boat didn't disappear because it went behind a hump of Earth curvature on a ball. It's because it went so far away you can't see anymore. You have to increase your zoom. And you can increase your zoom with binoculars, a telescope, and then a camera. You can keep bringing the boat back over and over and over and over. Light refraction. Light refraction. Okay. Okay. So if I'm 2,000 feet above sea level and I see mountains 273 miles away and they should be hidden by 3 miles of Earth curvature, how does that work? Do you think you have to believe in science?
If I open up a gas pressure container, what happens?
I'm glad you.
We shot a laser from 6 feet elevation, 31 miles. Based on the globe Earth math, there should be hundreds of feet of curvature blocking it, yet we could see the laser 31 miles. How does that work? So I shot the laser 31 miles, it was observed, and we took an outside angle, and it showed that the laser was completely horizontal, and that just for future rebuttal was that it was curving. Outside measurement, what were the exact? No, we videotaped the laser from the outside, and it was completely horizontal. You see it was curving over 600 feet that wasn't there.
Again, if you're taking a picture of it, the picture is also going to be subject to the same laws.
Oh, so it looks flat, but it's curving 600 feet.
It really depends on the kind. That's why I'm asking the specification of the laser, which you have given me, and the specification of the camera.
Right.
Yes, that can be explained.
Yeah, field engineers of this is very high level conversation. Do you understand lasers that well? If I start staying off the specifications of it?
Well enough to be able to look up whether you're right now.
Okay, so what's the most coherent pulse source laser that you can get? How's it measured?
Let's find out.
Game.
Yeah, literally in that one, those that saw, that's the Santa Monica Pier clip. He literally everything in the conversation, he just used Google as his defining feature of what is correct. And at that last point, he literally was like, he's like, okay, we'll tell, like, because Austin's telling them about the laser thing over 33 miles, and they got a picture of it, and he's like, okay, well, give me the specifications of the laser and of the camera. And then he's like, do you know anything about cameras and lasers? And he said, no, but I can Google, like, I know enough that I can Google it. So it was just so insane. And that's obviously from Super Smash Brothers, the sound effects and stuff. It was just basically like what my point is that guy fighting, all he kept doing is using an item. He just kept picking up an item and like, oh, I'll use the item instead of anything that was from himself.
Right. Well, I just asked the chat how we were sounding on YouTube. Everybody says it sounded a lot better.
Sweet.
I want to thank that flat fellow for boosting our channel the way he did, so we could get a little better sound. Much appreciation to you, Tommy.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. I really appreciate that, brother, as we all do.
Yeah, looking forward to having him back on the show sometime. I think he's a little busy at the moment.
So, if anyone has an idea of like an Wits It Gets It stream that they saw, and like a part that particularly stood out to them, and they would think it would be funny or a good, a good clip, send that to enclosed cosmology fellowship at gmail.com, or you obviously better yet put it as a comment under this video or under the video of these clips. I'd like to get it more views so more people get out and get not only see our clips and lead to us, but also lead to Austin and see his stream and support his tour. So I know it's coming down to a close, but he's still got a ways to go. So I definitely want to show them support too, and so yeah, and then yeah, despite other than that was kind of what I wanted to share. Um, just kind of things. Did anyone have any particular thing that they were kind of thinking about or something they've been munching or chewing on and kind of wanted to ask other people questions or research that you've been looking at that you kind of were thinking about? Anything like that? Anyone got for us?
Well, I was talking to a friend today about space. If anybody wants to cover that a little bit, the person I was talking to wants to go to space really bad, and I was telling him a little bit about it, what little I could in the little chat message there, but uh, I think he wanted to kind of hear, what space is according to the geocentric flat Earth model and stuff like that. Before he goes and spends a fortune trying to get there. So, anybody want to talk about that for a little while? Like,
I think space
uh,
may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
right. But what about like August Picard? I can't remember how high he actually got in his balloon. But we know how high.
I think it was like 40,000 miles.
No,
Or
it wasn't.
sorry, it's 40,000 feet or whatever. Sorry, not miles.
Okay.
I think it
So,
was 40,000 feet at the most because it did have to be pressurized and he did have to have oxygen, I believe.
yeah. Oh, so Baumgartner got a lot higher than he did. Then he was 128,000 feet. But even at that,
Supposedly.
how high? I think what his question was ultimately was how high does someone have to get before they see curvature of the Earth? And yes, Dead Mouse, I'm talking about you. So how?
I don't know, like you're talking about like you'd have to see the ball basically. You know what I mean? I don't think you can. I don't think you can get ever high enough. I don't think anyone can get high enough to see a ball because it doesn't exist. It's
Well,
like it's like
even,
I want to see someone make strawberry shortcake in a universe where strawberries don't exist.
right. But even if it did exist, it 25,000 miles in circumference and all that stuff, if it did exist, we would have to get to a certain height to be able to actually see it. But then we have the firmament to deal with. There's a ceiling there. So I don't think anybody ever has gotten, you know, to the height that they would need to be at to actually see curvature. You see what I'm saying? According to the globe math, I don't know of anybody that's gotten high enough according to that math to actually see it themselves.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't, like even with the whole Jeff Bezos thing, like I think a rocket was launched, I think a thing was launched up there, but um, like even their like enjoyment, it literally seems like they could just be in a zero G plane, painted up to have a room that looks like that. They could easily mock like even the windows having light coming in through them, or just have it like a straight up studio room within a zero G plane. Like it, I don't know. I think that if you believe that space exists, and you have the ability, the money to go there, to spend money to literally just get away from the planet, like if you believe in said planet, seems kind of silly. It's like you're literally throwing away money to get away from the planet. It's not like once you spend that money, it's an investment. It's literally it's like a big firecracker. Even if it was real, you go up there and then you come back down. What are you gonna do when you're up there? It's not like you could, or they have hotels, or you could go to the moon, or any of the things that you would actually want to do when you go in quote space. All they would literally do would be like go out of space for a few minutes and then come back out. So even if it was real, it's retarded.
Oh, I agree.
What about all the starving children in America or the world,
They want them to continue to starve. They want your money. They don't want you to give your money to somebody that needs it. But see, that's the whole thing about it. They make it, all the space and stuff, they make it look so fun because they get to float around and stuff. And, we could experience the same thing if we jump out of an airplane, parachuting or something. We can experience weightlessness that way. So I don't need to go to outer space to experience that. But it's just the portrayal across the television or their websites or whatever. They make it look so beautiful and so fun, and that's just so amazing to be there. And I kind of see it as not so good, like fire.
Yeah, who knows? But speaking of Austin, I don't know if y'all know this. He's got, or not speaking of Austin. We were speaking of Austin before, but what I was gonna say is, he's actually coming here tomorrow. So he's gonna be streaming tomorrow from, I believe, downtown Salt Lake. I don't know. I'm thinking he's gonna go somewhere by the temple, but I don't know what he has exactly planned. We'll see here. I think he's gonna let us know tomorrow what's up. But anyways, I'm super excited about that. So I'll be there with him pretty much all day, depending on what he's looking like time wise. So that's gonna be fun. I'm excited to see him and be a part of his stream or his activism in general. So that's gonna be sweet. Um, yeah. So you had a scripture or whatever that you kind of wanted to bring up. You were telling me about, Nick. You ready with that? You want to go ahead and show that?
Yeah, this was interesting to me. If anyone wants to pull up Luke chapter 16, where he gets into the parable of the unrighteous manager or the unrighteous servant, it kind of ties into Jubilees. I don't know if I should read the entire 13 verses, but I want to summarize the parable and what it means, at least the way I'm reading it. And basically,
I have it pulled up. I'm gonna pull it up on stream. If you do want to at least read some of the verses.
Yeah, well, let me run through it really quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
What translation do you have?
I just have KJV, but you could do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna run through the New American Standard, but so
right quick, what is the verse?
Luke chapter 16, verses 1 through 13. And it starts, now he was also saying to the disciples, there was a rich man who had a manager, and this manager was reported to him as squandering his possessions. And he summoned him and said to him, what is this I hear about you? Give an accounting of your management, for you can no longer be manager. And the manager said to himself, what am I to do, since my master is taking the management away from me? I'm not strong enough to dig. I'm ashamed to beg. I know what I will do, so that when I'm removed from the management, people will welcome me into their homes. And he summoned each one of his master's debtors, and he began saying to the first, how much do you owe my master? And he said, 100 jugs of oil. And he said to him, take your bill and sit down quickly and write 50. Then he said to another, how much do you owe? And he said, 100 cores of wheat. And he said to him, take your bill and write 80. And his master complimented the unrighteous manager because he had acted shrewdly. For the sons of this age are more shrewd in relation to their own kind than the sons of light. And I say to you, make friends for yourselves by means of the wealth of unrighteousness. So when it is all gone, they will receive you into the eternal dwellings. And what I got from this is that Yeshua was ministering to people that, you have to be good at forgiving debts that other people owe to you in like small ways, just like money, for example. Because he goes on and he says, the one who is faithful in a very little thing is also faithful in much, and the one who is unrighteous in a very little thing is also unrighteous in much. And it ties in the Jubilees because he says, well, how much do you owe my master? And he said 100 jugs of oil. And he said, take your bill and write down 50. And 50 is that the number associated with the Jubilees with forgiveness and whatnot. And so it's just an interesting parable when I heard the Jubilees connection brought up when I was listening about it this week.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. Pull back up my main screen. Awesome. Yeah, this definitely awesome. It's kind of interesting, right? Because just to finish that out, till 13, he says, I'll bring it back up. Boop, boop, boop. And it says, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is also in much. If therefore you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? And if ye have not been faithful in that which is another's man, who shall give to you that which is your own? No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. Yet ye cannot serve God and mammon. So I think it's really beautiful, like finishing off, like like we really do, our actions really do come to kind of serving one of two masters, and it's always kind of said, like, my father is, Abraham, or my father is, is Yodehave, and Yeshua says you are of the father of the devil, and it has that, in Matthew's where it says, those who go and sow seeds, sow tear into the wheat fields of others, just so that they have a hard time, just so it makes, it causes them an issue, or something to come up that, normally wouldn't have come up. And he says those, those are those are the children of the devil, the people that do that type of stuff. And we see it everywhere in our world, and the craziest part is, that's what I believe, like our media is, like any news station, they are just sowing those seeds, to people, left, right, and center, and they're sowing them as like they're selling hotcakes. And so it's really sad to see people, and I said earlier before in our discussions, on Discord, how that I think that the evil one will put up these roadblocks, within our, our walks. And there's certain subjects, there's certain things, there's certain religions, etc., where certain people, they come to these places and they're nice and comfy, and and they just stay there. They don't keep pressing on and on forward. They're not taking up their cross daily and bearing it. And and while I say that, I'm not saying everybody's past the same, and the you know the the condition of each roadblock is the same for every person. I know some people, for instance, alcohol is a huge roadblock for some people, that they just want to sit there and just stick with that. And other people can walk past it with there's no issue, and we each all have our own, things that makes us stumble more than others do. But what my point is like, I think we always should be willing to definitely test everything to be true. But it also, like, finishing that out, paraphrasing, but it says hold fast to what is good. So when we've measured things up and we get to a point where, like, what, this is true, then we don't question that. We just keep moving forward. And at sometimes, we'll get to points in our lives or in our walk where something that we have held to, be good and true, comes up in what could be considered a contradiction in our walk with what is to be true and what's to be true. And then that's where I say, like, lean not on our own, where the Bible says lean not on our own understanding, meaning that if we're unsure of something, we're able to come to our brothers and sisters and say, what about this? And it's definitely hard to do that, with a loving heart, and to do it without any ego in it, because it's very easy for any of us to easily slip over into, wanting to be right instead of wanting to be right, or I should say, wanting to be correct instead of being wanting to be right with your, fellow brothers and sisters. And there are those exceptions where there are those people who want to make it, make certain things, certain blockades, a salvation issue, where they say,
Right.
okay, if you don't stop at this, at this blockade, then, and you keep walking, then you're no longer in the covenant. You're a heretic. You're condemned to hell. And I was watching Sean's Torah portion today, and he was talking about something that's very important to me, and that I took with a big measure of how quickly our tongue and when I say tongue, I don't think that just means the physical words that we say, like you can text these things and it still be the thing, but how quickly our tongue can be our own damnation, because it says use your tongue to one part bless the Father, and then the second part of your tongue you use to condemn the image of God in your fellow man. And so, bringing up jubilees and stuff, I just like my spirit. The way that I want is, I'm never trying to offend people. I'm never trying to cause people to be offended. But I'm definitely gonna tell you where I'm at, what I believe, and I'm gonna, use apologetics, what I believe to be true, and I'm gonna be passionate about it, absolutely. And I'm not asking others to be passionate about what they believe, but I want to say just as much for myself, but to others, that we should always do it with a loving heart, that we should always do it wanting to share our pieces of the puzzle, but not being mad at people that don't see the piece of puzzle not only the way that you see it, um, but like, because there's so many difference in, and just to kind of throw up some things, like, um, shout out effed up world, he went on Sean, that was awesome. Like, I thank you for taking the time to speak with Sean, and Sean to take the time to speak with you. I always like to see, two conflicting views to come together and and see, what kind of comes from that. And to me, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about sharing puzzle pieces and being intellectually honest and spiritually honest to know that we don't know everything. And the more that, like, as people who believe in closed cosmology, knowing we know way less about where we live than we thought. We know way less about the word and what was thought. Now, yeah, we can learn, but to a degree, we have to accept that there's stuff that's been hidden or lost, to a degree which was obviously would be allowed by the Father, but nonetheless a degree to which has happened. And I am hopeful for the day where it will be like the Jubilees of Jubilees, when all is said and done, and in my belief, the 1,000-year reign begins when the Eden, the promised city, the New Jerusalem sits down in the promised location, and we get to
Believe
minister
right.
to the world and be in tabernacle with the Father, to share a household with Him. Yeshua says his Father's house has many rooms, and He goes to prepare a place for us. And if it wasn't so, He wouldn't say so. And so He's literally going to a place to prepare a place for us that is especially for us. And I think that's just like a shadow, like how He made our bodies to be our bodies for our reason. His sicknesses and all, struggles and all, tribulations, scars, bruises, blood and all. um, he's creating a place personally for us that's gonna let us know that He is, our Messiah. Like, He is our King. Like, who's had that where a king left his kingship for a time so that he could go specifically prepare a place for you and me and all of us. Like, how beautiful is that? But anyways, I've been ranting on for a while. I just wanted to say, it's so cool to me that you brought that up. And yeah, I'll turn it over to anyone who has comments or anything else they want to bring it up.
Well, I wanted to ask a question earlier when you and Nick were discussing what y'all was discussing. I was wanting to ask, what do we do with Jubilees chapter 3, 14 through 17, if the covenant was the same? If the covenant has changed, rather. Because it says that Adam and Eve were being taught the Torah in the garden for 7 years.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that, and I still would have to look at the overall conditions of their covenant with Yahuwah, which still, in my opinion,
And that's kind of
is
getting
vastly
into a
different.
conversation that everyone didn't hear earlier.
Yeah, it is, Anthony.
So
Yeah.
I'm not meaning to stop you, but that's getting into a conversation that had about like an hour at least of conversation before just so that everyone in chat and whatever is not like, wait, what are y'all talking about? Because you are kind of starting at the end of the conversation, but I don't want to take away from if we wanted to bring that up up at all. I kind of didn't want to, just because it is a controversial issue, and I'm not opposed to talking about controversial issues. I just more so this stream just kind of want to be chill. Like, if anyone has any funny things or any like uplifting things, like that's all.
Yeah, no, I do. It'll be cool. We put a pin in that for later, Anthony. Maybe we'll have a stream in the future about some of these topics. But
Yeah,
again,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up. You're right. Both of y'all are right.
No. I'm glad you did, because I remember Jubilees 14 to 17. I have not read or tested Jubilees. But no, again, I just like the whole idea of Jubilee. I really believe when you read the scripture that Yahuwah is really telling us like how He's forgiven our sins as far as the east is from the west. and he really just wants to wash away our sins and have us focus on him. And his name is the I am. It is, I am presently this. And if we rest and abide in that and know that, his name isn't like, I was this and I'm still that. Like, I feel like his name very much keys us into like who we are in him and how we are to be renewed, every day, have our minds renewed, that who we are in his son and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, Jubilees is a big key, like central thing to who the character and the personality of Yahuwah himself.
I got a funny little story. So the studio went to with my friend Andy, he has two dogs, and Nick was chasing them around the pool. He was just running circles around the pool, and the dogs were chasing after him. The one dog wouldn't stop barking at him every time he sat down. It was kind of cute. And the one dog's a pit bull, and the other one looks like a kind of like a sphinx, like an Egyptian kind of dog. I don't know what kind of dog it is, but it was so funny to see Nick, 6'4", running circles around this giant pool with these two dogs chasing him.
Hmm.
And I'm walking my dogs at this point. I thought that was funny.
It's been said that that's what Yahuwah was going to do. Something along those lines was to run the giants out of the Israelites' land. He was going to use hornets. He's going to chase out the giants. 300-foot tall giants with hornets.
He could have just used dogs. Yeah, because them dogs were chasing Nick around the pool, and he's about 6'4". That was kind of funny.
Yeah, but I mean, what I was kind of getting at first thought, why would you use a hornet to run out something that's 300-foot tall or whatever? But then you get to think about it. If you're getting stung by hornets, you're going to want to leave that area, right? So it does make a little sense to me. It could have been hornets, but of course we know that they didn't have faith a few times there and got defeated.
Yeah.
Were you finished with your story, Frankie?
Yeah, I just thought that was a funny little story. I just thought I'd break up the monotony a little bit.
Yeah, not
It was getting a little deep.
Totally appreciate that. Kind of just to talk about coming streams that we have. So next week will specifically be about after the flood. Like we're right off the boat. Let's get into the next era of post flood and what life was like. And obviously we're gonna go more deep to the scriptures and read a lot more and see what was going on with Noah and his family and the aftermath of all that. So I'm pretty excited about that. This will be kind of the concluding clip of like the middle or the second segment of the of this journey so far. So there'll be many segments, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I just want to kind of say some things that are going on. So my animation that we'll see next week for the stream is going to be updated and new. I'm excited about showing that off. That flat fellow, he is working on a song that's made specifically for our channel. That's at that flat fellow. Just to kind of while I'm mentioning that, bring this up really quick. If y'all haven't already, please go to that flat fellow. He not only supports our channels, but he supports tons of people. He has this awesome streams where he will go and do rent a booth at like a flea market and pass out information and ask people if they want to get questions for money. So I definitely would suggest checking these out. I like putting them on the background, like when I'm doing things around the house that I don't necessarily need to interact and chat with. But I like interacting with chat too. But yeah, that being said, definitely check Tommy out. He's such a dear brother in our community, and again to what he's doing, he's working on a song for us. It's going to be for our intro. He also working on a kind of interim intro, like and like video for us. So um, super stoked about that. And then Frankie did mention it before, but they did Love Is Your Witness. Now, if you've seen the stream any before, we typically end it off with we've been ending it off with Frankie's song, and we're doing it just over Discord and the guitar and the sound, and so it doesn't always work out perfectly, but I definitely know and I'm super hyped that this song's going to be as great as it sounds just in the fashion we've heard it. So super stoked for that. And then
Yeah, let me contact. Yeah,
okay,
we
go
put
ahead.
like for the guitar part, we put like a psychedelic sound on the guitar. It sounds so cool. It's got such like a '60s rustic feel, and then we doubled the vocal. We doubled my vocal, and then Nick is singing backing vocals. We got live drums on it. Uh, oh, and the bass line. I nailed the bass line in one track. Uh, and then our producer Andy is gonna. He's got some vocal ideas he wants to do when he's gonna be by himself. So he's gonna add some vocals and find like a matching sound for the voice with the psychedelic guitar. So and his wife was dancing and singing while we were playing the track. She said it's such a catchy tune, and I'm just super stoked about it. It was such a good day. I mean, we had a blast.
Nice.
Nick laid down the drum track, and the drum track is solid. Uh, he really he really got at it. It was really good.
Yeah, dude,
Really a solid day, man.
I'm super stoked, and I'm glad that you had like blessings on that day, like you felt it, because I know that means we're gonna hear it in the music. So super excited
Oh,
for that. And
definitely.
then kind of some cool things. So we don't know when and for what, but I believe Sean from Kingdom of Contest has agreed to come on with some point. And then Bob from Glowbusters also agreed to come back. It was actually awesome. We were in Witsit's, I think, LA stream, and we were just chatting, and then I think uh, you could tell the story more in detail, but you saw Bob in the chat, and you're like, hey, you want to come on with us sometime? He was like, yeah, and then he gave us all his information. So yeah, super stoked about that. Those people coming on as well. That will definitely help grow the community. So yeah, super stoked for that as well. So as far as things incoming, it's going to be that we're going to get do a lot more streams. Post the
Oh,
fun, and
West Jones, West Blaze.
West Blaze
Uh,
did too as well.
yeah, he's agreed to come on hang out with us sometime as well. We haven't set up a date or anything just yet. It's kind of the same ballpark as what it is with Sean as well. But
Exactly, yeah. So awesome. And then last thing I wanted to mention was um, the possibility of having like a ladies stream. So the ladies stream would be a way for the girls to get together and talk about some of the things that women could and would talk about, um, considering all this stuff, considering if you observe the Torah's instructions, and what kind of things you can do from recipes, or whatever the ladies want to talk about, and kind of you know get together and kind of have like that girls' night. I think that would be super fun. And I know there's quite a few, ladies that are not necessarily that are not only necessarily in the chat, like in the YouTube, but also the girls that are in the Discord usually. So and from other communities, we've talked to unwildly popular Morgan. She said she would love to join for at least one, and maybe it is just one stream, maybe it's a once in a while stream. I don't know, but we definitely would love to do something like that, and let the girls talk shop when it comes to being the ladies. So but yeah, so that's kind
Really,
of all. Go
I mean,
ahead.
who goes? What's fun to do going out anymore? I don't know about living in a city or nothing like that, but I know when I did live in the city, I got sick of going out here and out there and everywhere. And this community, I think is really gave me an outing. A place to hang out and to fellowship with everybody. And yeah, that's kind of what my idea was for the ladies group, so they could get out and hang out with each other and stuff, and do kind of the same thing. I'm not saying that we couldn't all be on at the same time or something like that, just to kind of give them a show to or a place to hang out, just them or whatever. And like you said, talk about recipes and stuff. Did I lose y'all?
No, you're still here. I mean, you're still there. I was just wondering if there was anything specific that you kind of wanted to talk about today, or happenings to you, that's just, you know, anything was going on in your world.
Oh, getting in trouble left and right. Um, it's almost like if you tell anybody outside of this community anything about scripture, they want to, oh, that offends me or something. They don't want to hear that. They got better things to talk about, like sports games that or the news. That's nothing but poison. But I kind of play. Sometimes I play these little online games when I just sitting around, ain't got nothing to do, and jumped on one and kind of talking about scripture and stuff like that. Well, I got in trouble for it. They said, well, don't talk about this. It makes everybody uncomfortable. Okay, no problem. So as soon as they went back to talking, they was talking about fornicating. I'm like, well, what's so bad about talking about scripture when the very first thing they're going to talk about is something that's not offensive to me, but it makes me uncomfortable in a way.
Totally.
I don't want to hear somebody's story about cheating on their husband or something and not be able to say anything about it.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you. There's so many contradictions. Like they believe in evolution, but they want to conserve the animals. It's like, why? Why is that such a bad deal? There's so much hypocrisy, I feel like, in this world, and it's pretty annoying, but I learned to just not necessarily ignore it, but just understand that it's gonna be there.
Right.
But speaking about games, I thought about this. So, for those that watch the Babylon series that Kingdom Cast does with Sean Griffith, so he did one recently about the character Nurgle, the second beast. And what's really interesting is in a game that I play, there is a faction called they're called the what are they called? The Death Knight? No, I don't remember exactly, but they worship what's called Papa Nurgle, and Nurgle is this like uh about disease and all this stuff, and his it's funny because they actually kind of change it in the game where sevens are his favorite number instead of sixes, but it's like there's multiple sevens in his thing, so it's kind of interesting. It has some, kind of topics. So it's just crazy to see how this character that, like, at least for me, when Sean revealed, like, okay, look, it's this guy over and over. It's Anubis, it's Hades, it's Hermes. It's the same character that we see all across the culture. All across the cultures, just representative a little bit differently, and just showed that it's this exact same guy that the Bible mentions by name, at least in that dialect or that language. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that he kind of showed that, and I kind of have some, I seen some interesting things from that. But anyways, I
Just
just kind of was.
direct, just so everybody's clear, I don't play no games like that. I play Farmville type games.
No,
I don't.
I get you, and this is things that that I'm learning that I never realized when I was, it's a board game, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's board games where you're playing against a mummy, right? But the mummy has all these symbols where if you didn't realize, it was like, oh my gosh, like there's Ankh and the Eye of Ra on this innocent little children's game. You know what I mean? Or there's it's just so proliferated everywhere that it's like, how did we not see this? Like, we see the caduceus, not only as a medical symbol, but with represented with Hermes, and then represented on the belt of the Baphomet. It's like this stuff's been in our faces, and we totally didn't even see it because we weren't looking at the symbols. We were looking at the image. All right, well, y'all aren't very active tonight. If y'all don't really have
Well,
much to talk about, we can.
you kind of lost me, man.
Sorry, you don't know what I'm talking about with the caduceus and the
No, no, I know what you're talking about. Just from what Sean was saying about it. I don't know nothing about the game part of it.
Oh no, I'm just that was like 1/10 of what I was talking about, but I'm talking about how it's literally everywhere. The
Yeah,
symbology of the caduceus, like, you've been literally, anytime you
yeah.
go into a
Everywhere.
building, you have been going into a building marked by the second beast symbol.
Yeah, and it's everywhere you look, and it's in your movies, it's in your news, it's in
It drives
your.
by you in the ambulances. It's like but we didn't realize how deep it went. It's so crazy to me.
Well, they definitely want to catch us with a young mind. That's why they target children. And in my opinion, it's blatant child abuse. The public school system, the private school system, what any of that, it's child abuse.
Yeah, and that gets into pretty deep conversations. So
That's actually kind of a lot.
uh, so anyways, yeah. Anyone else have any, like, anything? Like, it doesn't have to be, necessarily biblical, or just like, did anyone hear about this? Like, one other thing that I want to mention is I keep getting this same news story over and over on my feed, just like when Google pops it up when I go to Google Mail and stuff. I took a screenshot of it. I don't have it to share on screen, but I'll just explain to you what it is that I'm looking at. And it's literally, let me pull it up. Right here it says, one of the largest comets ever seen is headed our way. National Geographic. I keep seeing this thing about this asteroid. Is anyone else having that pop up on their news feed? They keep seeing an asteroid's coming.
I think
No, how are they going to pull that off?
So see, this is one of the reasons why not to get into it, but I don't believe in preterism. is because um, is literally because I don't think sorry, I'm stuttering here. What Revelation 9? I don't think it's been fulfilled, um, and um, and so I think at the whole alien buildup and stuff, asteroid buildup and stuff with the dinosaurs and everything, is in part um, is in part getting us revelation, getting us ready for revelation, for the reveal of the quote unquote meteor that hits the ground that causes this huge explosion, this smoke, and then the aliens come from the smoke. That's what I think that they're getting ready
Yeah, but if we're in
for.
a dome, how are they going to pull that off? Like even a meteor shower, they can't pull off
No, no, it's not.
because
It's
we're in a
gonna be an
dome.
angel, bro. It's not gonna. It's the angel talked about in Revelation 9 that's given the key to the shadow of the bottomless pit. They're going to make it seem as if this thing is happening. So I just pulled it up real quick, and it says 747 size asteroid skimmed by Earth, and scientists didn't see it coming. Asteroids. Is today the last day of humanity? This giant asteroid. The asteroid we thought might miss us.
Well, you know,
We had Austin on last week, and he said that the telehubble the telescope, they're actually watching the angels.
Mm,
They're watching the celestial beings in the sky.
yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
interesting. Don't panic, but a million asteroids may be hurtling towards by hiding near the sun. A huge asteroid almost hit the Earth, but also NASA didn't detect it until. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like they put this in the news feed, just like throughout it, and they keep telling people asteroid, asteroid, asteroid. They're not putting this in people's faces because they're not going to do it. And then think about all the people that as soon as it's described as an asteroid and aliens are going to buy it hook, line, and sinker. And they're going to buy it hook, line, and sinker and be firmly established that they know that they live on a ball because of aliens.
I'm not gonna buy it.
Well, I know that, of course, anyone of the like who's diligently, taking up their cross and bearing it and walking down the path, they're not going to be fooled for that. It tells us that that for the elect's sake, that we're not but it is a warning saying, if it were possible, the very elect would be fooled, but it won't because they'll be diligently looking, waiting for these things. But that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that's what I think they're it's like we're playing volleyball. They're setting up to do this spike of this literal asteroid that's not really going to be an asteroid. It's going to be the angel that it talks about in Revelations 9 and um, oops, in Revelation 9 and they're gonna make it there. It says, and the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there a smoke out of it, and arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a giant furnace. And the air and the sun and air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit. Like, what do they show you in movies? They show you an asteroid hitting and then it blanking out and darkening the skies. You see that in dinosaur movies, you see that in post-apocalyptic movies. And so what I'm saying is they're going to say this star is an asteroid, and when it hits and opens the bottomless pit, there's gonna be a smoke that comes out of that smoke. And they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is the smoke from it hitting and impacting, right?" And and then the lotus are gonna come on the smoke, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, it wasn't an asteroid, it was an alien ship, and the aliens are now coming out of the ship." But we know that they're coming up upon the earth, and there came out of the smoke a lotus upon the earth. And so, yeah, I think this is a very interesting thing in Revelation 9 because it doesn't go on to say, and this is what this vision was describing. It is telling you exactly what it's describing as it's describing it. But anyways, I'm kind of going down that whole channel of thought. But yeah, I think asteroids is definitely something that is a ticket, is an item, is a card that they have been showing us, and they're just getting ready to play it. And I think it's tied to the growing community of people seeing the world it really is, and at some point they're going to have a cutoff point and play that card, and then depending on what side of the fence you're on at that time that card is played, you're either going to either going to fall for that deception or you're not going to. That's my opinion, at least.
It could be just, like you said, a deception to get people away from flat Earth, because it is a movement that is really putting a halt to their agenda.
I don't
Because
think
the more people that wake up to flat Earth, the less power they have over humanity. You know what I mean?
I don't think they're trying to get anybody away from flat Earth as much as they're trying to get people away from Scripture and our Creator, Yahuwah.
Well,
That's the whole
flat Earth is intrinsically tied into the story.
Creator.
If you take away the flat
definitely.
Earth, then you take away so much important parts of Scripture.
Yeah, it takes away the Creator. If there's no flat Earth, then there's no Creator.
Yeah, like I'll give you an example of like when Joshua prays for the sun and the moon to stop. Like that is intrinsically tied to our cosmology, and that is labeled as, it literally says no, no day since or forth has this, has it happened that the Lord hearkened unto the voice of a man. So, it is definitely inside. He is the Most High. That's a title, as well as a physical position. He is literally sits at the mercy seat at the Most High, and it's at the top of creation.
I think we should do a study on the book of Second Ezra. I think you'll enjoy that book, babe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because it talks a lot more about what it goes into, like deeper detail about Revelation.
Yeah, it's definitely a deep subject. But yeah, anyways, so I personally think that's the next big card to come. I think even the jab is just conditioning people for the next part of the story, just as much as the like being 6 feet is like TSA. You know what I mean? Like that's how strict they were back when, the quadruplet towers fell down. You know what I mean? So
Quadruplet.
if you feel me. But yeah, so I don't know.
Well, there's a theory that the whole how can I say this? The whole 19 operation was a spell, was a delusion, just to get the jab implemented. And now that they have the jab, they're actually spreading the poison.
Well, and that obviously, it just look at the ingredients label. Why would you ever want to consume that?
Well, it's like a placebo. If you feel
it's worse than a placebo, because
if they tell you they're giving you morphine to do an operation and they give you salt water, your body's going to react to that, and you're going to feel the effects of the morphine when actually they gave you a placebo, and they can still do an operation. It's been proven study in World War II that they did operations on people because they ran out of morphine, and they gave them saltwater solution, and it calmed down the soldiers enough to where they could operate them, and they felt minimal pain because they thought they were under the influence of the morphine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole operation of 19 was a placebo effect, and people were getting sick, and because their mind was telling them, oh, there's a crazy sickness going around, and people with underlying conditions, their conditions actually got worse because of their fear. It's just a theory, and I'm not, saying that it's true. I'm just saying it's one theory, and now the jab is actually spreading the sickness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a
Totally.
control, and the
I almost would say that I have direct.
a great spell has been cast over this realm. You know what I mean?
I almost say I have direct experience of that. Because a person in my family that I have, typical, like often interactions with ended up did going through that process for the sake of a job, and soon after that, a lot of people around were sick. But that's correlation and causation. I'm not gonna say for sure, but it kind of seemed that way from me. But I could totally, I'll say up front, I could totally be wrong. But anyways,
It's powerful. It's a powerful motivation. I mean, fear can cause your body to have all kinds of reactions.
totally,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
It is it can really cause your body to have really bad effects.
Yeah,
And the fear that Job was in, I believe when Satan went to Yah and asked him permission to put all these plagues on Job, he already knew that he was in his power because of the fear that he had. And he really wanted Yah to give him permission to kill him because he knew that Job was in covenant with Yah. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Totally.
yeah, but
But his fear, he could only put destruction on him. He couldn't take his life because Yah did not give him permission to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
That, it's just my opinion on that whole scenario, Job.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. No.
Job feared the Lord. He didn't fear what the devil brought to him. He didn't fear plagues and that whatnot.
But he feared that his son, that his children were in sin against the Lord. That he feared that they had cursed Yah at their parties, and he was just in total fear of losing them, and I think he was in fear of everything.
Well, if he was in fear of anything, then he wouldn't have been blessed by Yah in that situation because we're not supposed to fear anything of this world. And that's what I'm saying. He might have uh, feared for the circumstance, but he ultimately feared the Lord for the circumstance.
Oh, definitely. But I just think when you're in fear, it opens up an attack
Oh yeah.
for the enemy to come in like a flood. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because
my opinion on it.
and I kind of, cause like how and I really was actually like felt really cool when I wildly unpopular, she did a stream about like spirits and her testimony and stuff, um and she was talking about specifically about a part where that the unclean spirits, the or quote unquote demons, can talk to you in your head in your own voice. And I have totally experienced this. I knew it wasn't me thinking those things, but they were definitely being thought inside, quote unquote, thought inside of my head. And I bring that up because, like, in fear, I feel like you could be so more susceptible to listening to that unclean spirit in that voice. And I think that's why maybe people in super stressful or scary situations, fearful situations, would do things to other humans that they would not normally do. Because they're willing to kind of feed their flesh and keep that spirit, and listen to that spirit to keep themselves alive. If that makes any sense to anyone.
Yeah, I think there's like different kinds of fears, like a reverent fear. Like, I mean, like a lot of times in scriptures when the angels came, the first thing they would say would be like, fear not, because they want to give a message and they don't want it being received with fear of like, well, my gosh, what is this, but like the worldly ways, they're like trying to interject fear, worldly fear, and all kinds of, spiritual fears and different kinds of fears. It's not a reverent fear like we're supposed to have for the Father.
But look at all the people walking around. I mean, there's people still not going to church because of fear, because they're afraid to be around a large community of people. And now you see what happened to Rob. I mean, he's undergoing an ordeal, and it's just because of the way they're treating, his pneumonia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not treating it properly, and that's why I feel that he's under attack. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I've heard nurses testify and doctors that
I don't
the
get why
protocol is,
I just don't get why he went to a hospital. That's what sucks. It's like, man,
well, the protocol
Did.
is
I would rather
worse.
I to be honest, I'd rather die, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, he had walking pneumonia. That's a really serious. And then they put the other thing on top of it. So, and there's a way to treat pneumonia, but they're not treating it. They're treating it. They're treating the other thing. You know what I mean? I don't want to say it.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
feel you.
You,
Yeah, no,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
talking about.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's why I would never go to I never want to go to a building that has that symbol as its, like, this is the symbol of this place. It's almost like a modern day
Yeah,
it's almost
exactly.
like a modern day temple. You know what I mean? It has all the
Yeah,
markings, it has knives, they have all these different rooms for all these different rituals. You know what I mean? It's like super similar kind of.
yeah, and
You go
the
to your
medical
you go
symbol
to your
alone with the
yeah.
two serpents
Yep,
coming up the path. I mean
yeah.
that don't tell you something.
Yeah, and then add that into, you go to your special area that has your potions, I mean your pills, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing, but it's hard to say, right? Because there isn't just like an easy option where you can be like, okay, what's the best way to take care of my body, right? I feel like Scripture gives you quite a good amount of information, and I know some people would be offended at that because I would say, eat the things that the Father suggests us to eat. But I feel like literally a lot of those things can directly be tied to physical health problems that people have because of some of the food that they're consuming. And I'm not throwing stones. No one's perfect. But just another kind of thought there to add into it.
Look at all the people that go to McDonald's and all these fast food restaurants. They all have health issues. I mean, I haven't eaten that stuff
People.
in probably about. I haven't eaten McDonald's in probably about 4 years, and my health is so much better. When I was eating that, I mean, I was overweight. I had really bad arthritis. I mean, I still have, aches and pains, but I've lost 80 pounds and no, 60 pounds, and I just feel a whole lot better since I stopped eating that junk. I mean, it is really, really, and there's people that there's no limit. I mean, we got a guy at work. He's got to be close to 600 pounds, and he's wolfing down cheese steaks, 3 pretzels at a time. He can't even get off his forklift because he's so big. And he'll have somebody bring his lunch to him, which will be a cheesesteak or a double bacon cheeseburger or some 4,000 calorie meal, and he'll just wolf it down on his forklift. And you can't talk to him because he thinks you're prying into his business. It's a shame. I mean,
and I've kind of seen this. Is he one to put something over his front area so that he can restrict breath flow? So it's insane.
He's got a whole head covered.
And yeah, it's like, why you got the full head covering, and so because you're scared of that, but yet you're living a lifestyle that is more likely going to kill you than this other thing.
Exactly.
Statistically, and that's what I was kind of talking about earlier, where they're literally full of hypocrisies.
I mean, have you ever watched the show My 600-Pound Life? I mean,
yeah, and I get it.
All that saturated fat just flows to the bottom of their body.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you see them from shoulder up, you would think they were a normal person, but then you look at their body, it just all flows to their legs, their butt, their stomach area. I mean, when I was that big, I had heartburn so bad, I don't even know, and I don't know how these people deal with it, being that big. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I couldn't sleep at night. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with reflux so bad. I literally had a bottle of Rolaids by my bed at all times. If I didn't, I would have to go out and get them the next day. I mean, sometimes I couldn't even make it through the night. It was so bad. You know what I mean? And I was only 280.
Well, we all struggle with our inner demons, I guess, as you could say. You know, we all have struggles in life that, even though we might realize that we're doing it wrong, it's really hard. We have to really focus on not doing it at all.
Well, it comes from not having a relationship with our Creator, with Yah and Yeshua. You know, I mean, you have so many past traumas, and I was in a really bad marriage, and I used food to comfort me because I would sit outside of my house at 3:00 in the morning, wolf down a double bacon cheeseburger and a large fry and a Big Mac and a large Coke, and not think nothing of it, and then go in and go to bed, or go in and play PlayStation until 5-6 o'clock in the morning, and then go to bed. You know what I mean? But I was just eating all the trauma my ex-wife was putting me through. So I get it. And I had a relationship with Yah, and I was still doing that. You know what I mean?
Right. And, it's like, I kind of went through the same situation. I hate to use the term I turned to alcohol, because for the first year, I didn't drink beer, not even one. But, I didn't get to see my kids and stuff like that, and that bothered me. So I would drink a few beers in the evening. I'd forget about that, and I could go to sleep. But that it got to be more than just 2 or 3 beers in the evening. It got to be 12 pack and then 18 pack, and before you know it, I'm having to drink to go to bed, and I had to step away from that. I feel a whole lot better now that I did.
Yeah, praise God, praise God. Yeah,
But
I've lost 60 pounds. I feel so much better.
it took a little while for me not to, have that thought in my mind, like, hey, I got to run to town and get a beer. It took me a week or so or whatever, kind of keeping that in my mind, like, don't go to town to get it and I won't drink it, but then after that, it don't matter. I walk right by it. I don't even look at it in the cooler anymore. I can have it in my refrigerator right now and I wouldn't even know it.
Yeah,
Amen.
see, and we were talking earlier about like the struggles and stuff and how some bear like for me, like I drank when I was like, 17, 18, 19, but by the time I hit 21, I was done with alcohol. I didn't think it was fun. I was like, yeah, you can have a good time, but then you wake up with a headache. It costs a whole much, like it always got me into trouble, or at least, like I was at those parts of my life, I was going from girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend, and it was like, I become a completely different person on alcohol. I become jealous and egotistical, and so for me it was super easy to be like, nah, I don't care about that. So like every once in a while, like if we go eat some like sushi, I'll have some, in the clean version. I
Little
really like
sake.
sashimi. I'll have some sake, which is like some
Yeah.
rice wine, and then like sometimes on Passovers or feasts, appointed times, I'll have a glass of wine or stuff. But I don't
There's
really
nothing wrong with moderation. It's just, when it becomes a crutch
Yeah, but
or
for
a
me, it never was, right? Like the only thing it
right,
ever was for me was like a rebellious stage to go party and have fun as a teenager,
right.
which led to nothing good in my life.
Now it's just something you do to relax with your wife, or if you're out at a restaurant,
Yeah,
you
like
guys are having.
super rarely. Like I
And
probably
the
in
only
the
time I drink is when I'm with my wife. If we go out on a date night, I'll have a couple drinks. Other
yeah.
than that, I don't have any need to. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. Even then, dude, like in the last 3 years, I think I could count on less than half of my hand. No, like probably like 3 times within the past 3 years that I've drank, because it's never
I
been
won't. I won't tell you because I don't go out with my wife that much. No, I'm just
But
kidding.
no, I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm just saying for me personally, it's never been a stumbling
Right,
block.
right.
But like as Anthony said, it was like a big, hurdle that he had to get past to keep moving and progressing in his life. And it's like that's why I am not quick to say, like, even if I feel like you were stuck at a spiritual or physical place, I'm gonna say I think you are stuck at that spiritual place, or physical place, but I'm not going to say like peace. I'll like leave you, meaning I won't you know, pick you up if I think you're stumbling, or I won't mention it. But my point being is it's like I'm also not going to hate you and be like, gosh, you're so stupid for just sitting there, because like I know that there are blockades in my life that I am being passive about being at, while other ones I'm not. So I think of the scripture where it says why are you worried about the speck in your brother's eye when you have a log in your own? You know what I mean? So it's like, and that's kind of like he who without sin casts the first stone. It's like he without a speck in their eye, you know, see clearly.
Well, well, that's what I think. True forgiveness is not holding judgment over somebody, even though they've wronged you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Forgiveness
Because
for
you
us.
can say you can forgive somebody and then still have judgment against them because they wronged you. It's when you release them from that judgment, like
They might not even know they
I
wrong. That's why it's easy
bandwidth.
for us.
I'm really starting to learn that the more I hold him in judgment, I'm not really forgiving him. I got to let him go. I mean, it's a process because, you know, he kind of traumatized Nick and I with the way he acted and the things he did. But we're in the process of not holding him in judgment any longer and just, you know, feeling pity for him and just praying for the love of Yeshua to overtake him. You know what I mean? For him to be healed of all his past traumas, which are causing him to have this behavior towards his bandmates. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well,
it's
Anthony?
definitely hard with people in our family, right? Like people that are friends or family. It's like
Yeah,
it sucks because it's like it divides you, but then again, it's like you're not gonna let a piece, like a family member, like where the father says, anyone who loves their father more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their mother or brother or sister more than me is not worthy of me. And so it's like you have to really be willing to separate yourself from your family, but at the same part, what's most important, I feel like, is being able to still talk to them. And we all know that it's so difficult to do because it's like so important to us, these truths, these things that are being revealed to us. We want to share and have them under that same wing, under those same blessings. But then the people you care about, like, they fight you against it. And I understand that because again, we each have those strongholds or those blockades that we stop at. But it just sucks because it's like we all want to do the best for each other, but we also, have to work on ourselves. And I think that's
well,
just to
when
finish
I,
up,
when I,
is to say that's where it said, he says to love your neighbor as you love yourself. The qualifier there being, as you love yourself. And it's like loving yourself is pretty hard to do when you feel like you have sin or things that you're
right.
doing in your life that are not what in the Father's will. Go ahead.
Yeah, especially when a family member or a friend offends you or wrongs you, it's because you've let them into your heart. You've opened yourself up. You made yourself vulnerable to them, and it just hurts so much when they wrong you. You know what I mean? And it's hard to really just let that hurt go and not judge them and not keep them in a place of unforgiveness. You know what I mean? And loving your enemy, yeah, that's a whole nother level that Yeshua has taken us to.
I know
You know,
exactly.
I mean, go
I know.
ahead, Anthony.
I know exactly what you talk about. That's why I keep saying forgiveness is for us. Because if we don't forgive the person that wronged us in our life, it's just going to dwell in us. It's not going to dwell in the person that did you wrong. And you're torturing yourself by not forgiving that person and moving on and forgetting about what they might have done.
Right.
You're
Well, it stops you from
making
walking in the spirit, also. You know,
bothering them one bit. You see what I mean? They might not even
they
know
don't
that
even care. They don't even realize they wronged you, or they don't even care that they wronged you. You
so
know what I
who
mean?
so who is hurting in the
So
situation if you don't forgive them?
us
They don't exactly. So why should we keep hurting ourselves? Why not forgive them for their
and just move
what they
on. Yeah. Yeah.
whether
But
they know
and
sometimes
and, be,
it's all.
and better and better yet, pray for them that they would come to the place where not only would they not want to do those types of behaviors to their fellow man, or to say it another way, to their fellow images of Yah, but to pray for their neighbor, I mean their enemies, right? Um, to be able to truly pray and hope that even the most, vile person can or will choose to come to the Son, to the Father through the Son. So it's like, I
Yeah. What I'm trying to say, the more you care for somebody and they wrong you, it's harder. I mean, you
oh
can
yeah,
do it.
absolutely.
Takes a little bit longer. Like, I'll give you an example. I had a boss at work. He really pissed me off, and I left, and I was just driving home, and I just, I just started praying to the Father. I just said, look, I mean, he wasn't a close friend. He was just a boss. And I said, you said love your enemies, Lord. You said, Father, love your enemies, pray for them that spitefully use you. So I just lift him up to you. I release him, and I asked you, I forgive him, and I ask you to forgive me, and just have your way in this whole situation. He texted me and said, don't worry about leaving. You're not going to get in trouble. As soon as I pulled in my driveway, he texted me and said, Frank, don't worry about leaving. I made a cut. You're not going to get in trouble for it. I was praising, I was like, oh, thank you so much. But I mean, if that was a close friend or somebody I trusted and relied on, I don't know if I would have been able to do it as quickly and as easily. I mean, I'm still learning how to forgive my bandmate
you can kind
really close. You know what I mean?
yeah, you can kind of sum it up as like this: you never get betrayed by your enemy. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You get betrayed by a friend. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good. And that betrayal hurts, man. It takes
Yeah,
a
it
while.
hurts. It hurts way more than an enemy just attacking you, because you
Yes,
know they're your
exactly.
enemy and you know they're going to attack you, but you
Right, you
never
expect it.
expect
Yeah,
a
yeah,
betrayal.
right. But a close friend, somebody you're sharing your music with, somebody you're in fellowship with, you're doing ministry with, and then he acts that way. It's like, wow, man.
Well, and in all those things you're doing, right? Like anyone that's in a relationship with you, in any intimate fashion, right? Like you're sharing them your thoughts, your feelings,
Right,
your
your deep
family,
side.
your like all this stuff that is very important to you. And then when that is betrayed, that's way worse than a person that if they
Exactly.
saw your children, they would just kill them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
So.
then they hold it over you. They throw it in your face. It's just like it was a rough deal. What me and Nick went through with him, and then we're in the process of just releasing him from judgment and just forgiving him. We're gonna actually see him this week coming up. So we just been praying for that we'll be able to fellowship with him and love on him and just show him the love of Yah. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Best my best advice is walk up to him like nothing ever happened, like he's always been your best friend that you hadn't seen in a long time.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. Like I'm gonna go back. I've been visioning. I've been like seeing myself the way I was with him before we even got in the band. How I admired him, how I liked his talent, and I've been seeing myself having that kind of interaction with him,
Right.
just rewriting all the hurt. You know what I mean? Not reliving the hurt that whenever I see him having it feel awkward. Just going back to the way that I was when I first met him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think that's what the Spirit's showing me how to deal with this. Like visualizing it, putting it in my heart.
Totally.
Rewrite. It's like it's called rewriting your past. Like if you had a traumatic experience with your parents or when you were growing up, you were abused, or you just rewrite it, have a whole different image of it, have a past that was pleasant, and live out of that, and you'll actually heal your past, and it'll make your present and your future so much better. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it's a shame we're kind of developed out of the traumas of our past, and so many people continually repeat the traumas of their past in their present and in their future. You know what I mean?
That's what I was saying like before, where that I don't think we're gonna give an account. Okay, I don't think we're going to later give an account of all the things we had done in our lives. I think we're currently giving an account of our lives to the Father as we live it. And the reason why I think that's important, because in reality, um, eh, everything that's happened to you in your past really doesn't matter, because you are you now and you get to decide whether you live in the Father's will or not. no matter what adversity, no matter what adverse enemy comes up, no matter what obstacle comes in your way, you know that the Father is for you, so who could be against you? And so,
Right. Well,
go ahead.
Paul said to press towards the mark, and he counts everything behind him as dung. You know what I mean? He is just living in the future, bringing the future into the present, looking forward, pressing towards the mark of the high calling, and counting everything behind him in his past as dung. You know what I mean?
Well,
Just living to the
this,
Father's will.
and I'll give you an example. It's not like how long have you, I don't think it should be how long have you been keeping the feast. It's are you keeping the feast? Like for example, for me, I think it's important to excuse excuse me, to observe the
Bless you.
appointed times, and so I don't think it's like a tally marker. Okay, I've done it for this many times. I think is that each time is the reason why I'm doing Sukkot or I'm doing the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Is my heart in the actual purpose of doing, not just to do it to say I do it, not just because it's a vacation, but am I actually doing it why the Father wants me to do it? And so you should live like that for everything, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like an excitement. You're looking towards it. I mean, look, there's another feast coming up. It's going to be a glorious time. You know, it's a time. It's an appointed Diem. It's a time where I get the fellowship directly with the Father, and it's a time that I can look. It's not a check on my box. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to spend time with the Father and be blessed in His. Because the feasts are for us to come into Him. You know what I mean? That make any sense, Vader? I lose you?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You all right, buddy?
Yeah, I just need a drink. Give me a second.
Little reflux.
The feast are a time that we should want to spend with Yahuwah.
It's a time of rejoicing, man. It's a time of praise, and it's a celebration. It's
something,
and it's a time we can all do it together, and know that your brothers all over this realm, they're all doing it together, and we're all rejoicing together in the Father's love. It's literally a coming together of the body and celebrating that feast. You know what I mean? Even if we're not doing it right, like most of us we're not, but it's the intent of celebrating and having that appointed time, and knowing that Anthony's doing it, knowing that Vader's doing it, that we're all doing it together in different places, and then we can meet up on the appointed Shabbats and the Sabbath. You know what I mean? And talk about it and share our experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You all right, brother?
Talking about doing something along those lines too, but he doesn't have the time to basically set up a meetup sort of thing or a conference or whatever. But I'd love to set up some sort of a conference to where we can all come together for at least one of the days per year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Maybe we could do one, and then they take on the world. They do theirs. You know, that's like the feast. You know, we could have different groups kind of set up to where we could all work on a gathering for the feast every year, and each person pick out one feast and then work on that particular one for a conference or a gathering or something.
Yeah, even if we can't all get together in body, we have Discord, and we get together on this platform, which is such a blessing, you know?
Oh, such a blessing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I just hearing your experience of Sukkot, and I was doing my Sukkot, Anthony was doing his. Just knowing that we were all doing it together, we were all excited. And the weeks coming up to it, Vader, you were like, yeah, we're going away. It's going to be a great camping trip. The kids are going to love it. It's going to be great family time. We're taking the camera. You got the camera. You did your
Mm-hmm.
flat Earth experiment, and then afterwards we had Witsit on, and we were talking about it. Then I was just I like the coming up to it because we have so much excitement. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because we just love the Father's ways and love being in His presence. It's something that He made for us to celebrate. That's
Yeah.
the way I look at it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
That's the way I look
and
at
I
it.
and I
That's
can't wait to do it in the kingdom with them. Like, imagine like at least how I imagine it, being out there and being a free priest and helping people, and teaching them, and then literally getting to come back home for the feasts. You know what I mean? And having these, just, oh dude, I just it's literally beyond my imagining of how awesome heaven is, and I know it's even better than that, because I'm not going to be able to conceive it. But what I used to think is dwarfed in comparison to how I view Scripture as I'm growing and learning. So yeah, absolutely.
well. See, that's
Yeah,
that's
it's an exciting walk we're on. It's an exciting time, man. And I'm learning just learning so much in the scriptures and learning how our heart and our mind are connected and where the secret place is going within, and just imagining how you want, like, true prayer is going into the secret place and using your imagination and focusing and seeing that become reality, in your mind, and then it becomes reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, dude, I know exactly what you're saying. All right.
Exciting, man.
Uh,
It's really exciting walk.
yeah, no, totally,
What
totally.
time are we wrapping this up? It's almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah, so we're having some. So I want to show
Get
something real quick
some comments from
on.
the last one.
Yeah, so this is actually the comments from the stream with Austin. Guys, we got 671 views. First and foremost, thank you, Austin, for even coming on and giving us such a great show. Your
Oh, that's
testimony
awesome.
was your testimony was obvious, was awesome. Your time with us and the questions and the back and forth was awesome, and then the time you spent with us
Really was.
after was awesome. I'm super excited to meet you in person tomorrow, and that will be super fun, and spend the day with you and your activism. Super excited to meet Chris as well. But
Are
yeah,
you going to get on camera with him?
yeah. Well, I'll probably get it maybe into a stream, just say hello to everyone. But
Yeah,
uh,
you should wear your Vader mask. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just wanted to read out a couple comments from that stream. We got 24 is awesome. It helped a lot more people watch the videos, and um, so we're really thankful for that. Anonymous Cosmonaut said wanted to listen to that. I can appreciate Wissit's testimony there. But most of the other voices, yeah, we are having some audible issues that lends right over to shout out to Tommy, that flat fellow, for boosting our server in Discord, which basically gave us better, like twice as good audio quality. So
How
shout
did
out
he do
to
that?
Oh, and
Tommy.
for anybody that's not subscribed to Tommy, y'all check his activism out, because if you're wondering how to approach people, he does it excellently. And I'm not saying anybody's approach is a wrong way of doing it, but he just really does get a lot of interaction one on one with people in just normal everyday life. The way he approaches, talking with people. Uh, I think
Yeah.
he just very excellent job. He doesn't like try to force it on somebody.
Hmm.
He gives them the rope.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we did show that earlier on stream. So if you want to see what like the page looks like, it's easy. You can go back there, or it's just that flat fellow on YouTube. But anyways, uh, Bubs Bird Bear said, I appreciate this talk a lot. Yeah, it was, I did too, being a part of it, and how awesome Austin is as a person, as a truther, as a channel. He does such a great job. And let's see here. It says, "Your balls, sir, need an R value. You are a true human." Thank you so very much. That's so funny. I agree with him. His balls are the R value. And then
Yeah, he's got some real kahunas, man. I mean, to stand out there and do that, it takes some real. He's got
yeah,
confidence. I'll tell you that.
absolutely. And then Bill, we always see Bill in Austin's chat and various chats. He's a brother, and love for him to hop on here and join us sometime. And maybe he doesn't know how awesome we are yet, and this helped him. So let's see here. And then we had Sasha. Now, I'm not going to go into this whole thread, but all I wanted to say to Sasha was, I'll just pull up this part real quick. Y'all can obviously go read it. But I just want to say, "And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, or the speck, but not considereth the beam or the log that is in your own eye?" So all I want to say is, we're not perfect, and we also know that there are things that maybe we shouldn't do that we do, and we're not perfect. And just because we're not perfect doesn't mean we should accept that behavior. So I don't know if you want Austin to say, yeah, everyone should do drugs, even though maybe he has a problem with it, even if that's true. So I would just suggest to you, sister, that you have a lot more, less hard heart, and that will help you, I think, in life. So, and then last to Emoji King, he just said, "No volume, this sucks." I know, man. We've had issues with our audio in the past, and we had issues audio in this one. That was, I think, at our time, our 14th stream, maybe our 13th stream. So all I'll say is, we're getting better. We're all new to this and doing this thing. It was very, kind of coincidental that happens. I would suggest go maybe checking out the point 5 episode or the first episode. And that will kind of show you kind of where we came from, and how this has definitely progressed in the right way. So I do appreciate that you left a comment, but and we are working on those things, but just have a little mercy on us, is all I'd ask. But other than that, that was all the comments from that. Again, awesome video, awesome. Definitely check it out. And then before I go, I wanted to go back and just play one of the videos. I'm just gonna do the gamma the gamma alert again, because I think it's good. So let me pull that up, guys. Bear with me.
Right quick, while you doing that,
Mm-hmm.
I actually forgot to even talk about it, but I got some video footage of a cemetery near my house too. I've been talking about it for a few years, and well, I say a few years, about a year, I guess.
Because even if you disagree with me, which
There's a cemetery near my house. Oh, is it playing?
Nope, go ahead. I paused it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I'm sorry. I barely can hear, but anyway, I did go out there and get some video footage of the cemetery, and I was a little exaggerating on the height, because when I first went there, I just stepped it off. I had no idea, but I actually brought a tape measure this time, and one of these graves is 8 feet. I think it's 8 feet 3 inches from headstone to footstone. Um, but I got a little footage of it. I couldn't find everything that I was looking for though, but I'm going to try to get it put together and get it to Vader Bear, and see if we can't cover it sometime or another.
Yeah, it'd be interesting at least to look at it and kind of see what conversations come from it. Definitely. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I forgot.
I'm gonna put this. We're gonna play this video again. If you want to kind of get set up in a kind of good place, Frankie, I guess we'll do this last time where we just do it over the phone. When we
Yeah, I want to wait for the song because I don't want to ruin it. You know,
No,
it's gonna be.
I think you got to do it one last time, and then the next time
All right.
it'll never be live again.
All right.
All right, but we'll get that to in a minute. I'm gonna bring this back up again. Please, guys, go watch it. If you haven't seen it, like, go check it out. I did want to say to those real quick before I pull that up. To those in chat, if y'all want to go watch it with me real quick, I'll share my screen so that you can watch it, and then you can just come back after. You should be able to hear it and watch it with the stream as opposed to just waiting for me um, to start talking again. So I have it streaming if you want to go watch it. If not, you don't have to. But I'm going to pull it up for the stream as well now, so bear with me. All right. And what I was saying is, please go watch it. Please leave a comment on it so we can get some more views. And I want to make some of these. So if you need an idea for a comment, tell me what other, like, just if you can specifically have one in your head of a stream that Austin did and interactions that he did that you want me to make like a clip video out of. Please leave that as comment, or just something what you thought funny or awesome about the clip was. But other than that, yeah, we'll play it and then we'll say our goodbyes, and then we'll have the last live um, outro song of this, and then yeah, next week we'll have the live one, the studio one. So anyways, here we go. Here's Austin. This is Wits It Gets It Clips, St. Louis Gamma Alert.
Just means you don't know anything about it and you haven't researched it, but you should agree with my right to say it, right? Well, the government doesn't agree. I guess the First Amendment has a stipulation that says no flat earth.
You're a idiot.
Okay, you wanna debate me?
No, there's no real value.
Do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is?
I do.
Define it.
The second law of fucking thermodynamics has to do with Twitch and YouTube keeping you on their platform.
Okay, gamma metal.
You're totally what's wrong.
You know
with
what a gamma is?
I know that's what.
What's the radius of the Earth? Do you know?
Do you?
Yeah, 3,959 miles. What's the circumference? You don't know. What's the curvature rate? You don't know. How fast the Earth spins? You don't know. How fast it goes around the sun?
I'm just gonna.
So you're just ignorant. You know what a gamma is?
Hey, actually, I don't have anything to do, so I'm just gonna be here.
Perfect. I'm just gonna make you look dumb then.
I'm gonna make you look dumb. What is this on Twitch?
It's on YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah, you look
wow,
dumb.
you can't even get on Twitch, dude.
Yeah, I can get on Twitch.
They probably ban you.
No, would you support platforms banning people?
I support platforms banning people like you.
You don't even know what the second law is. You don't even know anything.
The second law of fucking thermodynamics.
I literally think that thing is so funny. So hopefully I'm not just making myself laugh with these things, because I think they're funny. And I have a good idea. The next one I'm gonna do, it'll probably come out tomorrow, will be about the cops. So depends on Austin. It may come out tomorrow or Monday. So it's gonna be about his interactions with the cops. So we'll have fun with that one. But anyways, all right. Well, I'll throw it off to you, Anthony. Say your goodnights, and we'll go on from there.
Yeah, again, Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and hope everybody has a very blessed evening. Thank y'all all for coming out tonight and hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all next stream, hopefully, and we'll have a little more a directed topic on the next stream too. So much love to everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Alrighty, it looks like he dropped out for a second, but Daryl's back. You want to go ahead and say your goodbyes, Daryl?
Yeah, I just want to say Shabbat Shalom and thanks. Y'all did good tonight. I know I didn't say much, but Hey, that was cool. Y'all covered some good stuff, man.
Appreciate
So,
it.
and I wanted to say too, on forgiving others, we talked a lot about that. I know I myself have a lot of times a problem forgiving myself and counting it dung and moving on. It sneaks up on me. So, got to work on that one. Anyhow, Shabbat
Yeah,
Shalom, y'all.
that's a big issue we didn't talk about either, holding yourself in judgment. Because
Absolutely.
as soon as you confess your sin, Yah forgives you. He puts it behind him. And we retain our sin, and it keeps us in our flesh. You know what I mean? And it stops us from walking in the spirit.
Yep, and
So
that's
the
why I
quicker we
say the
can forgive
past.
ourselves.
Yeah, that's why I say the past doesn't exist. Like, we can only live in the now and choose to not sin now.
The I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Live in the I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here as always, Daryl. Even if you're here, as a brother, adding, you do add when you see fit, and we appreciate that. Just being here means a lot to us as well. So, other than that, I'll go ahead and sign us the rest of the way off before I throw it to Frankie to say his goodbyes and sing us out for the last time for Love is Your Witness. And I'll just say, again, thank you all for being here. Those that are in the chat, as always, those that watch the video later for, doing whatever it is you're doing, we appreciate that. Please like and comment and subscribe these videos and our other videos because it helps reach other people, brings other, puzzle pieces. And it's going to be awesome as this community grows and grows. It's growing by leaps and bounds. It's so awesome. We're almost at 250. It's like we're almost there. And then, the next and then next and then, eventually we'll be able to do awesome things, with the community as it gets bigger and bigger. So anyways, our next topic is going to be right after the flood. We get off the ship, what's next, and kind of going down that path leading up to the culmination of that era being the Tower of Babel. So super excited about this new segment coming up and what we discover and talk about. It's definitely going to be fun. So please join us for the ride. So other than that, I love you, brothers and sisters. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all's week coming up. And until next time, remember that it's the Father that loved you first. But I'll throw it off to Frankie and go ahead, brother, and sign us off, and let's hear it.
All right, this song's called Love is Your Witness. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I can't wait for you guys to hear the recorded version. It sounds so much better than this, but live is always good also. So here we go. Love is your witness. Love is your witness. Love is your witness. Let it shine out. Let it shine out. Better to give back away. It's how you live and what you say. All the beat and ride around. Overcome evil with the song. Love is your witness. Love is your witness. Love is your witness. Let it shine out. Let it shine out. Love is forgiveness. Love is kind. Love is patient. All the time. Love is your witness. Love is your witness. Love is your witness. Let it shine out. Let it shine out. Have a good night, everyone. Love is your witness. Remember that. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Much love, everyone.
Much love. Much love.